Hello, good morning, happy Monday, beginning of a new week. Hello, Xanax. How are you doing today? How was your weekend? We have a Zilby here, and I've relocated this camera, so hopefully we can look at his face if he doesn't turn away from the camera the entire time. Good, you were on a boat? Well, that sounds fun. Being on a boat sounds like a lot of fun. I was um I was actually cat sitting for a friend who went onto a boat over to Europe. Or I guess they flew to Europe and then got into a boat. But that's been like a week and a half. So I doubt it's the same boat. But that sounded like a lot of fun. I've never actually done that. I've never been on like a cruise or anything else like that before. Which I've heard is really fun. So maybe someday. Let's see. Okay, so we we are continuing with the course articles. I got a new cable for the USB microphone. We're gonna test that out. I did plug it in and then I unplugged it to move the cable to the side. So I plugged it in the beginning of the stream. We'll see if it goes crazy today. Then we know it's not the cable; it's something else. And if everything else is fine, then we might be okay. Show the cable on camera. Um, have to be careful with the mic. That's the cable right there. Yeah, so that should be okay. It accidentally got a little bit shorter than the previous cable, so I need to make sure that everything still works. Um, Zilby's staying so slow, so still. Like I'm now paranoid that this camera is gonna like stop working, but nope. Okay, I see ear movement. Uh, so it does seem to be that I was overloading the bus of the USB bus on the back of the computer. I was attempting to have everything spread out between USB 2 and USB 3 ports, but I guess that I didn't do a good job. I need to like rearrange them properly. And I'm wondering if maybe also the microphone was getting caught up in that. I don't know. Would have been interesting. But anyways, Zilby Cam is now coming out from the front of the computer, which means I have now like a cable running by my feet, which is not fun. I'll have to figure that out sometime. But all that's working, and we're happy. So, continuing with our articles on writing query parameters. Let's see, where do we leave off? Capturing route params. The only place we need to tell Axum about route params is the route handler, since the data is after the path. I guess that's a period. So like, since the data is after the path, the router doesn't care about the route params. Let's continue the example that we are creating. Let's continue the example that we've been creating. Let's see. Let's continue the example that we've been creating. I guess like maybe, I don't, how do I want to word this? Let's continue the pet adoption scenario from above. We're beginning with a blank route handler. And we'll add a struct to define what query parameters we're expecting from the client. Oh, hey Zilby, you decided to turn your back to the camera. How nice of you. Hold on. I can fix that. Hi, are you cold? Okay, let's see if this is any better. I'm trying to keep it low because I have the light behind him. But all right, okay. So we'll add a struct to define what query parameters we're expecting from the client. Now, I think we did this last week, didn't we? Axum query params. Yeah, right here. So and we'll add a struct to define what query parameters we're expecting from the client. In this case, we are using query, or I guess like here. I'll just add it, and then we'll just define what it means. Okay, so a few things to note here. First, we're keeping the query param data to be relevant to the type of request. In this case, we're doing a get all. So the query params are for filtering the pets that we would get back. Second, we are implementing, or we're driving, serialize and deserialize for the query params. Or I guess like we're implementing serialize for the struct. Axum will use this behind the scenes to extract the data from the I guess like from the query string that it gets from the raw request. Xanax, you started to learn Svelte. How do you like it? I think you mentioned that, right? Or yeah, that was you who mentioned that on Discord. How do you like it? I've heard really good things about it. It's pretty amazing. And yeah, you mentioned it. Okay, that's what I thought. I thought that was you. Yeah, I've heard nothing but really good things about it. But I've never had a chance to use it because it came out after I was already using other things in production, and it's too painful to switch over something like that for a company without a pretty good reason. Kukma, hello. How are you doing today? What library am I using for query param serialization into a URL? Um, you know what? I'm not serializing. I guess I'm not serializing into the URL. It is more of deserializing. I put the serialize on here, um, but it's really not necessary, is it? Here, that's a probably good point. I should probably get rid of this. I should probably say we're just gonna deserialize. And I think you're gonna be happy regardless. Um, I mean, that being said, I think that I can well, no, that's not true because when you return from an API, you don't return a URL, you return data. If I wanted to return, like as part of the data, if I wanted to return a URL, I would probably use the URL crate to create a URL with query params. And then it would be like, then serialize would work. And then Serde works with that pretty much. All right, so this works as expected. So I will get rid of you. Okay, second we are deriving deserialize for the struct. Axon will use this behind the scenes to extract the data from the query string that it gets from the raw request and turn it into the struct or an instance of the struct. Because if you serialize query param species, it would panic. Would it this when I serialize a enum, it usually turns into just a string of what the thing is. No? We could try it. Here, let's easiest way for me to play around with this is we'll copy that. We'll do what do we want to do for this one? We want to do a cargo temp. We want Serde JSON. Okay, so pull in these things. Let's also pull in serialize. Serialize. Let's see. No Demon, hello. How are you doing today? Jowie, hello. How are you doing? Good morning. Axum using Serde URL encoding. If you're also using this for serialization, equals panic. Interesting. We weren't getting a serialization error, but we weren't trying to serialize out because Axum doesn't. Well, Axum's not going to create to serialize it for me. because I'm not like creating any URL from it. And it was working for us with that serialization in there. Xanax, you once read a book, Clean Code, from Robert Martin, otherwise known as Uncle Bob, and now I am reading articles how clean coding is not the best. I mean, to be honest, every time that you read something, you're gonna always find like the counter to it, and yeah, that's gonna be something like that. It'd be an error something like supports only map and structs. Interesting. I guess. So it's not a Pika, hello. How are you doing today? Good morning. It's not a Serde problem. It's not a Serde problem. It's a Axum problem, right? Hello, folks and cats. I know Zilby. We got Zilby Cam working. Zilby is actually here. It's not frozen on him. You can see his little ears twitch away as he pretends to nap. And he's cold. But we're in the basement, and he's decided to hang out with me here. Or with us here, I guess. All right, so it's an Axum dependency problem. Where would I find this? How would I actually create that as a problem? Because like normally running this with serialize would not trip that. I need to like do something with it, right? So like if I add in serialize, how would I get it to error on that? So if let's say we, this is Axum Query Params. Okay, so we get you to run, you're happy. We run insomnia. And we do this get here. We have our query parameters, so I want query 10. I do need to, before this, we do a export you. Let's try that again. There we go. Okay, so you're happy with this, and I get we see it deserialized out here. Okay, so Serde URL encoded to string. No demon, hello. Wait, I said hello before. Okay. I got confused. Easy to happen. Okay, so we can do Serde URL encoded. Oh, I don't have Serde URL encoded. I have to install that. I have to find where to get that. Is that exported by Axum? Well, it might be an Axum dependency, but if I can't find it, I have to bring it in then. You don't think so? Okay, so then I have to bring it in. Because I can't use it otherwise. We can go take a look. Yeah. There's no Serde type stuff here. Re-exports. Not really anything there. Where would it be? Or I guess if it's not anywhere that we can find, then I'm gonna have to just bring it in on my own. Query extractor? Okay. Let's see, we actually got to the extractor some other way before once, without having to search for it. Extractors. Extract. There was a query extractor in here before, right? Yeah, but you don't have a link to the extractors. Yeah. Okay, cool. So we have query. Oh, available on Crate feature query only. Oh, I need that. Thanks, Annex. I mean, a big part of it is just running into problems and then investigating, like, why is that a problem? And then sometimes, and then one of the ways that I learn a lot is by like taking this and saying like, ooh, okay, let me cause the problem on purpose. I want to actually like see it so I can like get the shape of it in my head, and that allows me to understand it more, and I get it added into my my sort of like internal map of how everything works. So like that's the reason why I was like, okay, I want to see this. I want to cause the problem if I can, because then it lets me see the edges of the problem. Okay, if the screen cannot be parsed, that's that. And okay, so you say it's going to be in the implementation of query extractor, but this isn't query extractor. Why can't I get query extract? This is not the right one, right? We need query extractor, but I don't see that. Maybe it is. Okay, well, we'll stay with query. We can go to our implementations of it. So it is implementations. I don't see anything here for that. Am I just missing it? Or is it going to be the actual implementation of it? Okay, so here's our try from URI. Okay, so here's this. It's a try from URI from the query extractor. Query, and then we get the params, but it's working here. But here, I guess like here's the thing is that it is working. But this is deserialized. You're talking about serialized, right? Yeah, so this is okay, so it can't be from the extractor. It has to be from a Well, but the extractor and the responder are the same things. So maybe it's got to be something that's a serialize owned or something like that. So can I find serialize? No. Okay. Just try assert a URL encoded to string. I need to bring that in, right? Where do they get that? Joey, very noob question. What is serialization? Oh yeah, that's a super good question. Serialization and deserialization, it's actually been used sort of like behind the scenes a lot of times. In a lot of different things. Like we see that all over the place. But the general idea is when we're transporting things across the wire or like handing them off from one person to another, it needs to be in like a compressed, sort of like easy to transport format, especially if I'm using like Rust and you're using JavaScript, for example. I can't necessarily hand you a Rust struct. That won't work. Plus, also, like, there's no way to like represent that over the wire, over like an HTTP request. So instead, I turn it into a string, which can be represented in an HTTP request. And then a standard, it's like one of the standard things to serialize into is JSON. So that's what we've been using is JSON. To serialize that would be to take a Rust struct and it turns it into a JSON string. And to deserialize is to take that JSON string and turn it into a struct, like a Rust struct or a JavaScript object or a Python dictionary, like whatever you need at the end of it. So that's serialization and deserialization. And JSON's not the only thing that things go into. There's so many different formats that serialization happens with. Okay, we'll pull in cert a URL encoded here, which means that this is a behind the scenes thing. Let me see. Guess I should do minimum due diligence. We'll do a great that this is who we think it is, right? I'm pretty sure it's who we think it is. Okay. We'll add cert a URL encoded here directly, which means so it helps with interop with HTTP requests between two different languages. Interesting. Yeah, and it can be even used between different like within a single program. If one thing needs something in one format, then you serialize or deserialize from those two different formats. So it is basically a way to like transform something from one thing to another thing. You'd like to know how exactly a work of programming why someone say that program is slower, this program is faster, blah blah blah. What means compile? I guess like I'm not sure what exact. Are you talking about like how to make things slower or faster, or are you asking about like how people say it? I guess like I feel that there is something there. I'm not necessarily getting it. Kuba suggests watching Casey Muratori. programming lectures and streams for in-game dev. I haven't seen those, but game dev lectures are always fun. All right, are you good? So I should be able to do. Okay, URL encoded. I want toString. We've got the query now, right? Yeah, so I can query this. So that encoded equals that. So that's going to be a result. So let's actually, we can debug out the result, right? To see what it is. And it should tell us if it's an error here. Can I? Oh, I was really hoping I could debug the result. Oh, wait, no, I am. The debug returns what is passed into it, I believe. And I'm just not caring about this. Sure, fine. Okay, so we'll make you full screen. Let's hit you. So this is what we got. Everything is okay. Species cat. Capital C cat. Limit equals 10. So that became this cat here. So it seemed to have worked. Your first touch with programming was just plain HTML plus JavaScript, which you run with a live server. Was this deep enough? I mean, it depends on what you want to do. If you want to just stay with JavaScript and HTML and do web development, yeah, that's deep enough. But if you want to do game development, if you want to do other stuff, then that can cause other things. Yeah, we can try to create this manually. Let's find out. So we'll do let new what are we calling this? Like new query params. New query equals. All right, so query params. We will have a sum species. Actually, let me just fill these in. Okay. All right, so we have a sum. Species is going to be the query param species. We'll have this be a bunny. Limit will be a sum. It's a U8, so this will be like, let's say we want 10 of them. We want to skip. We're on page 2, so that's sum page 2. Skip, we're on page 2, so that's skip 10. And then search, our filter. This is just going to be a string of like what to search for. So like I want a bunny named, I don't know. I want a little brown. A little brown bunny. Okay. So then I want to input. This is going to be the new query. Okay, so that should be encoded. Let me. Ooh, now we have the. Oh, wait, no. That's just a semicolon. Got excited that we got an error, but no. Okay. So you are compiling correctly. If we run you. Here we go. Okay, encoded. Okay, species bunny, limit 10, skip 10, search brown. So I think it's working. So generally speaking, when you try to serialize or deserialize a enum, it just turns into a string of the enum. Now, if I try to put something inside the enum, that might cause more problems. But it's just a very basic enum. In fact, that would be the next test, right? Is like, okay, how can I actually force this to break? Can I force this to break? Oh, there's a serialize here. We put a serialize back. But that is a good question. If I remove this, let's see. That would cause it to fail, right? Yeah. So if I want to run URL encoded to string on my own, I need the serialize there. But it's it is doing from string, I believe, in the query. So here we can go take a look at the query itself, and I believe it's grabbing it out. So the extractor is extracting, right? So it's just going to be deserializing. And in here we can do, there should be an impl from request parts that the requirement is deserialized owned. And we have, okay, so here, yeah, and it does cert URL encoded from a string. So the from string, okay, so the from string requires the deserialize here, and it takes a string and then turns it into the struct or whatever we're expecting from it at that point in time. So I think, is that what we were talking about, or what you were seeing and thinking about? Stacking, hello, good Monday. How's your day going? I know it's very early for you. But yeah, if you can cause it to fail, I would love to like actually figure out where the problem is going to be. Yeah, okay, great, perfect. Let's see. So close. We have to get all pets. Let's come back to here. So second, we're driving deserialize for the struct. Axum will use this behind the scenes to extract the data from the query string that it gets from the raw request and turn it into an instance of the struct. Your coworker will be on Slack in about 20 more minutes. You already got the memes ready to go. Oh yeah, this is about the football, the American football thing. The yeah, I saw that. I got some points. I went to bed before it showed whether or not I won or lost, but I'm assuming that I won the first match. So I got invited to be part of I almost said Final Fantasy, which is like very much not what this is. This is a football fantasy league, and of course, American football. Because if we can't have sport, we can't like, have unique names for sports, so we have to reuse them. Ninjatron, hello. So technically you would just need deserialize. Yeah, so we only need deserialize here as long as we're not trying to do stuff like this. Like if for some reason I wanted to return a URL with a query parameters added onto it, then I would need serialize. But because I'm coming from a string, I'm deserializing that into the Rust object. And by me, I really mean Axum. Axum is doing it for me behind the scenes. But I do have to tell it what to deserialize into, which would be this thing. And if I had something that was very complex, I could implement deserialize myself, and then it would just handle it for me. Or I can use all the fun Serde sort of like things that you can put in here. Sylvie keeps on like turning around away from the camera. I think he knows. And then chooses to face away from it wherever it's going. So let's see. Okay, so we'll do that second. Oh, and then there's a third thing. Oh, what was the third? Oh, the third thing. So finally, we are using options since we want these query parameters to be optional. For example, if we don't, or if the user doesn't specify a species, then all pets, regardless of species, will be returned. If we wanted to cause a 400 error and not process the request in the case of a missing query parameter, then we could remove the option. Okay, so that's all good there. Types are also enforced at this point in time. So if I try to put something that doesn't turn into like a U8 for that limit, it's going to yell at us as well. Joey, one question about Helix. Does it give LSP completions inside Markdown code blocks? Oh yeah, that would be amazing, wouldn't it? So I have Helix here. I don't think it ever does. Like if I try to use this, so if I do like let like I'm not getting anything, and I try to do the autocomplete, and it's not giving me that. Wait, what T word? It's too early to be confused by that. Let's see. Yeah, so that's not working. That being said, if I do Helix health markdown, right? It's not Helix. Ooh, but wait. This isn't the right one. There's another one, isn't there? It's like embedded markdown. Markdown inline. Ah, okay. So I need markdown inline. And notice that's a none. Okay, so language server none. Configured debug adapter none. That would be interesting. Oh, the first word in the superset of JavaScript. Is that somehow what wait, when did that suddenly become a bad word? Is it just because of DHH and the whatever that library is that they pulled everything from? Yeah, to be honest, I've never had Markdown work for me in VS Code or NeoVim inline before. So that would be amazing if I can get that working. Because it's actually one of the biggest sort of reasons I don't use that for all of my testing. Because then I can like it opens up an entire new world for testing if you if it just becomes easier to write the code in the Markdown documentation, which is what I would love. All right, I'm going to add this to my list. So let's do see if we can get Markdown inline working in Helix, at least for Rust. For Rust. Oh, that I only show three rows, so it I can't actually do that. Uh, I'm losing the top one. Interesting. Well, that's too bad. If I add another row. Nope, don't. What is it? It's Alt N. No. Oh, I don't think I can. Control N. I can't actually resize it. That's what that is. Okay. So I limited 3 things. So okay, record video for query parameters is going to come next, but we'll get there. All right. Finally, we are using options since we want these query parameters to be optional. For example, if the user doesn't specify a species, then all pets, regardless of species, will be returned. If we wanted to cause a 400 error and not process the request in the case of a missing query parameter, then we could remove the option. All right, great. So that's these. So okay, that pulls everything. That gets us those. What is this? Okay, so let's now get the query. Okay, so let's now extract. Now that we've defined what we want to deserialize the query parameters into, let's extract them with the query extractor. Kukma, I just thought of something that might affect things. Were you looking at the most recent like main branch of Axum? Because there things might have changed there. I'm looking at the stable, which is 0.6. Maybe there's a big change there. I haven't looked at that at all. All right, so let's extract them into a query extractor. So that's exactly what we have here. So let's update you. Oh, so I want this one. So like, okay, we're going to query skip, unwrap or default 10. So we can show how to do default stuff. And then we're gonna tracing log that out. Okay, so then this is now what we got here. Awesome. Thanks, Coupon. Yeah, I'll be really interested to see what that area is, so I can help people avoid it. All right. We have our get our pets here. Okay, so. I need to also pull out and use that thing. Nope, stop. It's not. Ah. I did the wrong kind of copy. I did the normal Helix copy paste, but they're different instances, so I have to go to the clipboard. I keep on forgetting that. Okay, so here we go. We're using the query extractor to destructure the query out of the body of the request. Then once we have that, we can get at the contents of the query. In this case, all of the data is behind and options. So we'll need to handle that. I'm showing a way to unwrap the options and provide a default value in the case it wasn't passed in. Okay, so I mean, that's essentially just query params. There's not really much more you need to know about them. Ending these, like, I'm terrible at ending these articles. Like, I just sort of end, which I don't think is all that helpful. I guess, like, and that's it. That's it. We can now extract query parameters in Axum route handlers. You just redid your marksman and set up a new event. Now you have code block snippets. If you type code block, the autocomplete shows a snippet to spawn one. Oh, nice. It'll be nice when Helix gets code snippets, and then I can add those in. Okay, so I have this. This is all saved. Let me. I guess the next thing. Oh, I locked. That's what I did. Let's see. Okay, so that's you. You find error in Google. Currently, Survey URL encoded only supports top-level serialization. An attempt to serialize a new type wrapping a float will fail with top-level serialization supports only maps and structs. Turns out it's not support structs as fields. Oh, for Certa URL encoded. That I believe makes sense. We can cause that to be a problem. So let's say, okay, I bet we can do this. Let's do a pub struct, just for example. I don't know. And this is gonna be like 1, and you're gonna be like, I don't know, U8, 2, U8. Sure, why not? And then we have example here. That's just going to be a just for example as a struct. And you're required. Okay, so we need to also, let's not forget, we want serialize in here again. Put you, and we'll get rid of you. Okay, and then we're going to do let encoded equals, what is it, Certa? You are uncoded. To string, but I need to create let our new query equals query params. Come on, make it. It's not going to help me because it's erroring out. Hold on. If I even do this, will I need to fill out the to-dos? Maybe it'll just yell at me right away. So query. Of course, because it's a result. That's why. Okay, so we'll query unwrap. That'll cause the problem, hopefully. And then we can debug encoded. Okay, so then we'll need to, oh, come on. Dude. There we go. Species. This is going to be our query param species. You'll be a cat. Keep on undoing there. What was this? Skip. So you're a sum. Oh, limit. We'll do 0. This could be a sum 0. Search. It's going to be a sum. Hello. To owned. An example. Okay, so this one is going to be a what did I call it? I called it something silly. Just for example. Yeah, that's right. Just for example, we have 1, so you're 1, and then 2 can be 2. Okay. You're upset. Expected option. Because you're a sum, yeah. What black magic is that? Branch main description at the bottom left there. Is that Git native functionality? It is. And also, sorry, I just literally slammed my hand into the microphone. So sorry about all that, everybody. But yes, this is Git magic, and you can do it yourself. So I should probably do a short on that. So we do if you do a git, what is it? It's git to set it. It's gonna be git branch -- edit description, and that drops me into this, and I can just edit it. So we can delete that, and I can write and quit it. And then to get it back out and sort of see what it is, I can do a git config branch dot name the branch. So in this case, main dot description. And that just dumps out what that description is. These are not sent to GitHub. So just a heads up, these is not notes that you can use to like send to each other. This is just notes for yourself, which I really like. I really like the idea of being able to just have like little notes for myself that are not part of the code and not part of anybody else in the team. It's just me. All right. So we have you. You're working like that. Let's full screen you. All right. We expect an error. Oh, wait, here it is. I got the error. That didn't print out. Oh, it handled it. Okay, here it is. Failed to deserialize query string, missing field example. That seems. It doesn't seem like what the problem's supposed to be. So you can kind of use it as a to-do list for the entire Git branch. Yeah, it's locked to the Git branch. So that's something to be aware of. Like you can have a unique one per branch, which means that you can lose them pretty easily. And it's not like Git, so you can't like, recover after it's gone. But I mean, they're little metadata codes things. Failed to deserialize query string missing field example. Okay, what did I do wrong? That's not the error I was expecting. Seems like you need to convert your struct into something like a string and use it as a field. That's... Oh, so that's the error message. The error message is that it needs to be a string. So if I how would I work around this? I might need to helper this. Yeah, it's sort of like a double deserialization. There's a what did we do for this one? Well, I can't like go out. I can. So it wasn't hello world. Okay, so we have JSON path, query parameters. Did I store that code anywhere? Or wait, maybe it was an assessment. Maybe it was an assessment. Let's see, mirror API, JSON response. We have the guarded mirror, which I don't know if any of those were that. We have at least two projects, with query parameters. Yeah. Yeah, we've used it. Well, I mean, at backends, I use them a lot. Front ends, I don't really use query parameters very often. I mean, I send them out often to backends, but I don't really like consume query parameters. Even though you can, like, and oftentimes in routers in a front end, a trick is to use query parameters there, because you can sort of like pass data to other routes, and you don't need to use like global state, and you can get around that requirement. It's pretty fun. It might be in here. It might be in here somewhere. Uh, oh, like each of these are their own things. Okay, yeah, that's right. Let's see. I want to. I don't actually know if do I have rip grep. I don't have rip grep, so I'm gonna use normal grep. It's that I want no, the last tutorial before that was path parameters. Path parameters. So I know I use path parameters and then query parameters. Or are you talking about like the actual last course? The last course was Axum, right? I did an Axum course. Yeah, in that case, yes, I've put them in. The last course. Okay, I did put query parameters into the last course. Definitely. What would I call this? This is like a I could just search for serialize in here. I want recursive. But like that's so much stuff. I then need to tell it to not go into target and other things, which I don't remember how to do right off the top of my head, which kind of sucks. Oh wait, can I open up Helix here? And then maybe I can search for serialize. And I want to see, where did I find, because I know we did one. We did something on how to do a not fun serialize. Oh, but it would have been in the, it would have all been in the what is it called? The solution. I would need to go into the solution branch for each of these. I have bat. So I'm half a Rust programmer. Yeah, I don't remember where I would have done this. I mean, I know I put it somewhere, but then I forgot exactly where it was. And then none of these are solution branches. That doesn't help. Anyways, we at some point in time, we implemented, it was for deserialize, so it wasn't for serialize itself, but I would imagine it's going to be the same general idea. Where you basically create a helper struct and you say, okay, I want to serialize this. And it says, okay, well, in that case, I want to call serialize and all of the child stuff also. But then one of those implements serialize also. So I would probably have to manually implement serialize on that other one to cause it to like happen, or I don't know. Like I'd have to figure out what that is, or it'd have to manually implement on the top level. I'm not sure. Something like that. It would be interesting. I'd have to like go and look through how to do that again. So but yeah, that's a really good thing to be aware of with URL encoded specifically, because that's not anything else. You tried manually implement of struct field serialize. Did it work? It's not working. Okay, great. So that trick won't work. I have to figure out something else. I will keep that in the back of my mind, and then when we run into this, if we ever run into this in the wild, I will then fix it at that point in time. Until then, this is really good to know. Thank you, Kukma. So deserialize works, serialize does not. Well, as long as okay. Single layer only. No nested structs. May I know when you have some big project which is running and you want to make some updates in it, how do programmers test it? For example, Twitch when they're doing changes. So there's several different strategies for doing this type of work in production. So first off, it's really nice. It's not always possible, but it's really nice if developers can completely and totally replicate the entire environment on their own computer. So this would be using tools like Docker or some kind of virtualization system like Vagrant, or maybe just like something else where they can just have like a dev version on their own computer. And this would literally allow them to make an update, run a stream, actually like watch it all on their own computer, and just like that's super fast. The next step up from that is a sort of a dev environment that is deployed. So probably something that none of us have access to. There's a like most likely a dev deployed version of Twitch, which is like everything that Twitch is, but also has development stuff in it. And they could build the thing, deploy it to there. You can then stream to it, and it's just like normal Twitch, except it has new stuff on it. And then they test the heck out of that to make sure it's working as expected. They can write automated tests to like automatically start streams, read them and watch them and do all this or other stuff, make sure it's working, and only then will they deploy it. Now, do they do that? I don't know. Twitch doesn't go down that often from what we can tell due to new features. Goes down often for other things, but we don't necessarily know why. So, I mean, as far as we know, that's what they're doing, but we don't know for certain. That's certainly what a strategy I've seen in many companies use, though. Something to be aware of. Your sort of testing dev branch that's deployed out there should absolutely not diverge from production for very long. Like if you're testing something, then you want to push that to production very, very, very quickly. You heard in a Python stream that Netflix they do testing and production with a controlled group of users. Yeah, I've seen some articles. Netflix does trunk-based development extremely well, from what I understand. I've always wanted to do that, but I can never get permission to do that. And that's a hard sell unless you have like a good culture like Netflix does for that type of engineering. But yeah, like the engineering example, the Netflix example would be, okay, and like a small control group of users is the same technology you use for like A/B testing. So it's okay, your group over there, you get this new stuff. Everybody else gets these other things, but it's still all like they all have the code. Like the code exists in the systems they're using, but feature flags and other things prevent those lines of code from being executed, if that makes sense. So you can code it up and then deploy it. It's a deploy, but it's not released for them. And this actually brings me to like a really interesting point that's a super big contentious with like you need a lot of work with like companies to sort of like get them to like break out the idea of a deployment and a release. Like that once you can separate those two things, then all sorts of fun things open up to you. It's great. I have not successfully done that in a company yet, but I've been working on it for a long time. It's just a slow process. It's a big culture change. And tech change. It's the both together. All right, so do you actually say the problem? No, you don't say anything in here. What company would you like to build? I mean, if I was, I mean, in a way, I'm building Brooks Builds as a company. It's never going to be a big company. I don't want it to be. So that's like, you know, as close as I can get to doing something like that. But also, I'm the sole owner and founder of Brooks Builds, which means that I can do whatever I want. Now, if I'm working for another company, like my day job company, that's a different story altogether because there's other people and I can't just do stuff to them. You guess Netflix can also do it because of the amount of users and data feedback they can work off to determine if it was good or bad testing. Oh, I read a they have, or at least they had, I don't know if it's true anymore. This was years ago. They have people who are basically just doing UX research, and they'll do these experiments to say, okay, should we switch away from like the likes and like do the thumbs up, thumbs down, or should we do like, you know, horizontal scrolling on our devices or just vertical scrolling? They'll do like that kind of research all the time. And then it's A/B testing, which means that if you load up Netflix and you like your friend loads up Netflix and you get just a subtly different interface than them, you've been A/B testing. Company like 3D print your favorite game location on your property. That'd be fun. That's the thing, is I like that. But most people don't. If you actually want to learn a lot more about like behind this and not just like from one company's perspective, there is a book called Accelerate, which is the book when it comes to the research behind like, you know, constant deployment, deploying in production, but also having testing and like really good practices for this. That's probably the best resource I could suggest to. Plus, it's scientifically researched, which means that they actually have resources and like allow the data for you to like recreate that research if you wanted to. Steven, hello. How you doing today? What do I think of stack ranking? Stack ranking. I think that stack ranking is the worst thing that managers have ever attempted to do. And it's led, so I would say Steve Ballmer of Microsoft famously had stack ranking implemented. And I can't remember if it was Ballmer or if it was the next CEO. One of them came out and basically said that stack ranking almost destroyed Microsoft. So for those of you who aren't familiar with stack ranking, and Steven has got a very good example of stack ranking here, it's basically the idea of somebody up high telling managers. So let's say, I'm a manager, I lead a team. I'm told, hey, everybody in your team, I need you to rank them in order, top to bottom, from best developer to not best developer. So I need to stack rank them. Well, that's like, how do you rank somebody? It really, really is hard to do. So they often do what happened to Steven is they'll use metrics. It's like, okay, well, how can I reduce this into this human being into a number? How can I do that? That's impossible. But we'll do it anyways because we're told we have to, and managers will get fired if they don't, if they're at these companies, unless they have the abilities to fight back, which most of them don't have the skill sets nor the political power to do so. So you're like, okay, well, how many lines of code did you write? How many bugs did you cause in production? How many points worth of tickets was your name associated with across the board? On paper, stack ranking surprisingly is okay. In performance, it is like it destroys culture. So what happens? Well, what do you expect to happen? The developers realize really quickly what's happening, and they'll start gaming the metrics like crazy because we're good at that. Like, we will figure out what those metrics are, and we'll like, okay, lines of code, we got it. 1,000 lines of code every time I press the return key. We've got everything. Then they will managers will be told, this often comes with stack ranking, is like, okay, every quarter we're going to promote the top 20% and we're going to fire the bottom 20% and then hire new developers to replace them because we only want the best developers. But what if you have a team of really good developers? I mean, what if you have a team of people that actually like each other? All you do is you just erode trust. Because like now it's like everything becomes a competition. You just turned your entire company into a Game of Thrones episode. Because now everybody's going to be like, well, I need to be in that top 20% if I want more money. And if I'm in the bottom 20%, I'm dead. I mean, I guess like maybe a better example is you just literally turned your entire company into a game of Fortnite. And then you just have that circle closing in, and that's the best way to make everybody not work together. That reminds you of the terrible diversity rating system Blizzard proudly blogged about. It's something that we thought in sort of like some leadership circles that I've been in. We thought that we had successfully convinced the industry that stack ranking was a terrible idea. And then during the layoffs that happened within the last few years, it's been painfully obvious that stack ranking has been happening this entire time with larger companies and smaller companies. It just doesn't matter. It's still been going on. It's just they stopped talking about it, and because we would constantly tell them how stupid it was on LinkedIn. But that didn't stop it. They just hid from us. So that sucks. So basically, man, it's a very long way of me saying stack ranking, stupid. Like it's one of those, if you're in a company that does stack ranking, either fight it or get out. Like that is an indication, it's an early indicator of a bad culture. That's my thoughts. Also, WTF. Hello. How are you doing today? Good morning. Sylvia, you gonna turn around again? Face us? You wanna? No? He's like, I guess I will acknowledge you exist. All right, let's see. Where are we with this? Um, okay, so I think now we're going to record the video for query parameters. So I need to reset this and get that going. So you go away. Query parameter speed. Okay, so the species. Oh, so I probably want to delete these. And then I'll create, okay, we'll start with just the basic route created. Okay, so we have get all pets like that. Is there anything else in here that I need to lock down? Probably nothing in the library. Is this Helix? Yes, this is indeed Helix. Routes mod. Okay, so we have get all pets. You're happy here. Everything's good. And then pets. Okay, good. So let's right and quit you out. And let's close you out. And we'll open up VS Code here. Yes. Go away. I've not even been reading the change logs of VS Code, so I have no clue what's they've been doing. They just they update every month. I'm sure there's good updates. I just haven't been using it enough. All right, so query parameters. Then what else do I have over in here? Okay, so I want to go to objectives. Okay, so these are what we're going for. So you go over to the left. I don't need anything special here, so we're fine. Okay, so you're good. You're good. Make you go away to the side and you stay here. Okay. I used to always get excited reading them, but nowadays it feels more like bloat with small improvements in between. Yeah, every once in a while there's some good things, but I mean, that's the curse of any project. Like, every project is cursed to have really big, awesome updates at the beginning, and then it's going to be maintenance. It becomes maintenance with some good things that come in every once in a while. But yeah, I mean, that's just what happens when you have actual people using it. Like a good number of people too. You can't just make big giant changes. People will freak out. That's when it becomes a big deal, when they change their logo. And then it's like, okay, right. That's the reason why they can't have big changes. I get it now. When you see 1,000 people yelling at you about the logo changed. Drago, hello. Drago rating with a party of 2. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Drago, what are you working on today? How's your stream? What are you working on? Also, good morning. Even if it's not morning, good morning. You're working with plot in Python, but you're just a humble beginner. Well, I love following beginner programmers. I will give you a follow. Although, even though I rarely have time to actually watch people stream these days, But if I do get a chance, I'll see if I can stop in and say hi in the future. But you're working with plots in Python. That sounds fun. Is it so are you learning coding, and is this like your learning project, or is it like you have an actual project that you're working on that like is going to be a big thing, or just a thing? WTF, at least they still listen to user feedback, which is awesome. A few updates ago, they changed the Git diff editor, and the UI was just terrible, and they instantly improved it with the next update after all the negative feedback. Yeah, that team has been pretty good with taking in feedback. I do like teams that do that. You learn with the book, and you make chances. Oh, is that a game, or is it like is chances a game, or is it just like you're actually doing like chance opportunities and like graphing out like what the chance is of something? Because that sounds fun. One of the ways that I learned, so when I learned Python, I both used changes. Okay, got it. I thought I read chances and got excited. No problem whatsoever. When I learned Python, it was Python 2 back then. I read through Learn Python the hard way. And that was good. But I also took a course, like from a university, and got learned Python that way as well. But I'm certain that there's a lot better books now, and also, version 3 is a thing. Enquitil, hello. Good morning. How are you doing today? We're a little group of Italian. Okay, well then it's afternoon, or is it evening? But awesome. Well, welcome from Italy. I am okay. So I'll give my introduction. I am Brooks. I am we've been streaming, we do a lot of Rust programming over here. Oh, okay. Welcome from Germany. Welcome from Germany and Italy, or somewhere, at least Europe, somewhere. We are programming a bunch of Rust stuff over here. I actually make a lot of courses in it. I used to be a teacher. Then I've done programming, I've done teaching, I've done systems administration, and then here on Twitch, I create courses and I do fun stuff. Less fun stuff right now, but we are about to record a tutorial on how to handle query parameters in a backend framework in Rust called Axum, which is really fun. Rust is, I don't know if you've heard of it. Rust is a interesting language. It's more of a strongly typed language than Python. It's supposed to run really, really, really fast. You can actually run Python from Rust, which is sort of interesting and funny. Isn't Rust a game? Yes, Rust is also a game, which leads to really, really good recommendations from like various like things that I use that try to give me like YouTube title names. Like it's basically suggesting, hey, instead of like this live stream archive thing, how about I raided in Neighbor and took all their stuff. And it's like, well, it's similar to Rust, but not quite, just close. Oh, you're using exorcism. Yeah, I used to have students use exorcisms when I was teaching them JavaScript. That's a good tool. There's also exorcisms for Rust, but I think most people use Rustlings these days. All right, so this is the plan. I'm going to create a video. These are the objectives for the video. Okay, so describe what the query parameters are, describe what kind of data is best passed in using query parameters, and then we're going to then do the thing to capture them and then use default values. So I do these all in VS Code, even though I normally program in Helix, but that's just for course reasons. So here's you. We're going to do pets type stuff and all the things. So let me go and turn on the recording timer. And let's see. What are our thoughts we can do first try? I'm hoping we could do first try. Then I'll do a bang recording. All right. So as just mentioned in chat, if you have any questions or thoughts, or you just want to just say things, I do have chat on the second window. I'm going to try to keep my eye on it while I'm recording. I am not going to respond directly to it, but if it is something I can integrate into the video, I will do that. Otherwise, I'll get back and respond after we're done. And I try to keep these videos fairly short, so hopefully it shouldn't take too much time. Oh, which also reminds me, I need to remove cat cam. We turn off the desktop audio. I need to put alerts back on, but I'll do that. I'll do that later. Yeah, Zilby is a lovely cat. He's like 2.5 years old now. He's been hanging out with us on stream for a long time. Of course, he constantly turns away from the camera, and even if I move the camera around towards him, he's like, yeah, nah, you don't get to see my face. All right, let us begin here. I just realized I'm pointing away from the code, aren't I? I can fix that. I can transform. Nope, that was wrong. Flip. Yep, it was the other flip. I wanted that flip. Oops. Sorry about that. Hey, Zilby, you got up and faced us just in time for me to turn off the camera. What a shocker. Okay, let's see. Also, one time Zilby just meowed at us the entire time. Let's see if that works any better today. All right. We're going to talk about query params. And here we go. In this lesson, we're going to talk about query parameters with Axum. So first, let's talk about what query parameters are. Let's jump into a router here and sort of take a look. I have already set up a basic Axum application, and I've created a pets route. And the idea here is that this is going to get all the pets. So let's say we're a pet, adoption store. We want to get all the pets to see what we can adopt. Now, if I want query parameters, these are going to be everything behind a question mark in the router. So if you ever seen a route like, /pets, question mark, I don't know, name equals, and then Ben or something like that. These are query parameters. They're key value things, but this is not how we define them in here. We can't actually do anything question mark inside the route here. We're going to do that in the route handler itself. So let's head over there. Now, what kind of query parameters would we want to deal with? And what kind of query parameters actually go into a route Well, let's think of them as like metadata that changes what the what the route is going to be. So this is going to be a request to get all pets from this pet store, this pet adoption center, right? Well, in that case, how do we change that? Well, usually it's going to be like filters, right? I want to only get dogs, or I only want to get cats. Um, and maybe I want to paginate this. So I want to get like 10 at a time, but I want like page 5. So I want to skip 50 of them and then get 10. Um, Data to send in to say, hey, I want that kind of stuff is perfect for query parameters. Also, it's a GET request. We don't have a body. I can't send in anything through the body anyways. So this and the headers are pretty much the only choice for us. Let's go ahead and sort of like show what I mean by creating a definition of what query parameters we expect. I like to just call this sort of struct query params. And this is going to have to derive deserialize, because behind the scenes, Serde is going to be run to deserialize the string into the REST object we're creating here. So we're going to derive. I've already installed Serde for myself, so we can just deserialize. And then I also want debug, and let's just throw a clone in there. I actually think we need a clone, but a debug will be nice. If I save you, deserialize, I need to pull you in. Okay, excellent. Now, what do I want in here? So, well, we mentioned like, good things to have as query params might be, I want like a limit. I want a limit. This would be like a U8. Like, how many do I want in here at a time? I want to, like, say I want 10 pets. I want to skip, like, okay, skip the first X number of the pets to come back. Okay, that might be a U8 as well. Actually, this one might be U32 because I might have thousands of pets that I want to adopt or sell. Okay. What about something more complex? What if we have like other data set? What if we want like a search? Like so we have just a search, and that might just be a string. What if I also want to limit that string to something very specific? In that case, we can use an enum. So let's create a enum species. So I'm going to I like to use the same names, like query params species. We need this exact same derive debug down here. And so we'll have like, okay, we have a cat, we have a dog, we have like a bunny, maybe we have some like lizards up for adoption. We can now say species would have to be a query param species. Okay, excellent. All right, well, it's just telling they're not red. Okay, well, we can fix that. But these are examples of query parameters that I've seen used in this type of way, and also like what I would expect to be able to use this type of application. So if I want more metadata, I would just add it to this. All right, so get all pets. To extract out the queries, we're going to use the query extractor from Axum. So it's going to be query. Here it is. Use the Axum extract query. It is a tuple struct, so we're going to destructure this out right here. So query, and then its type is going to be query, and it's going to be the query params type that we just created down there. All right, you're upset now because, oh, look at that. Private type query params in public interface. So we can't have these be private, so we have to public them. That's not really a choice that we have. Now, if you're public, let's see, what else? Okay, so far, everything's fine. I don't see any errors, just some warnings. Let's go ahead and handle these queries. Now, in this case, I want to extract out and sort of like see what we have. So let's just like tracing debug query params, and we'll have our query like that. Now you're saying you don't implement display, right? So I can tell you, okay, we'll just do the debug version. All right. No errors, no warnings. Okay, perfect. I'm going to go ahead. Let's open up terminal. I want to, we can do export rest log just to make sure that that's set. And then we can do a cargo watch x run just to run our server. We have you running here. Great. Let's also open up Thunder Client. Do a brand new request. This will be a get to HTTP localhost 3000 pets. Well, that's interesting. So we get a 400 error, failed to deserialize query string, missing field limit. So this is actually, we have set that not only can we extract the query parameters, this is a must. We must have these query parameters. Otherwise, this request will fail. That's something that we can, potentially choose to do. We can say you have to give this information for us. Otherwise, we're going to, not work. Let's go ahead and add them in so we can sort of see what it looks like. So we're going to go into query here. And then for these parameters, we have limit, skip, search, and species. I'm going to just go ahead and open this to the right. So we have limit. Let's do limit of 10. Skip. Let's skip 0 of these. We have search. I want to search for any pets that maybe they're have brown fur. And then I want species. I want a cat. I want a brown cat. So cat like that. And then we hit send. Now we get the 200 OK, and we see here. Here is our. Here it is. Query params. Limit 10, skip 0, search brown, species cat. Okay, great. What if we don't want it to be required though? What if we want to be able to say, to skip the species cat, and then that means it could be any type of pet, it's a cat, it's a dog, it's a lizard, all of them together we get. In fact, looking at all of these, most of these I would probably want to be able to skip and then have default set for me, like a default limit of maybe 10 or 100. I want a default skip of 0, most likely. A search, definitely don't want to search, force a search. So how do we do that? Well, we can do that by coming back over to our code here. I want for our query params, I want to make these options. I'm going to make you an option. Skip, everything's going to become an option here. And that means that when Serde goes to deserialize this, it's going to say, ooh, you don't exist. You weren't passed in. Well, that's okay. You become a none in here, which is exactly what we want. All right, so if I just hit that, we come back to our everything here. I've turned off all of you. I hit send. Great, this works. We got the 200 OK. Everything's a none, which may or may not be what we want. Let's come into our handler here, and we'll say, okay, well let's start extracting these out and then set defaults for it. So I want let our limit is going to be equal to our query dot limit, and then we can unwrap or default. A default for a U8 is going to be 0 though, so I don't think we want that. I think I'm going to do unwrap or, and then I just hand the default number, which is a U8. So do unwrap or 100. We can say skip is going to be a query dot limit unwrap, or this one can be unwrap or default because a 0 is exactly what we want. I don't want to skip any. Search. Search equals query dot search. Did I do limit? I did limit twice. I want this one to be skip. Skip. You are search. I want unwrap. Now, will default give me an empty string? Let's find out. It does. Okay, perfect. And then finally, let the last one is species. Now, I don't want a default species that we're searching for, so I'm going to keep this as the option. So we're just going to extract this out with query.species, take ownership of it here. And then we can have our tracing debug do, okay, so we have our query params. I want to change you to be, we have our limit. Let's do query params, limit, skip, search, and then finally species. Which that one might need to be debug because that doesn't implement display. All right, so if I save that, the server is still running again. Let's head back over to here. And if I hit you again, now we see, okay, query params, limit 100, skip 0, search is nothing at all. I might want to actually turn search, might make sense to be just search like that. Because once again, if it's nothing, that's like different behavior that I want to have happen. I don't want to like send to a database to say, hey, search for nothing. That might do something that I'm not expecting. You are, what happened? Did I say query.search? We have you. Where's my error? Oh, there's your error. Right, I need to debug that. There you go. Okay, you're happy again. Hit you. All right, here we go. We have our query params, limit 100, skip 0, search none, species none. Okay, exactly what we expected. Now we could run the rest of our query here and basically do whatever we want to do. This would probably be a query to the database, get all the pets up, set whatever we want, like, okay, skip in the database, X number of those, limit the number of items coming back from the database, maybe apply some kind of like or search or similar in the query, and then also another query for the species. So we just limit what we get back from the database and then send that back to the client. And that's it. This is how we can handle query parameters in Axum and what these query parameters allow us to do. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye. All right. That is done. Drago, you're in Europe. There is about 90 degrees Fahrenheit, and you're getting mad. Also, Zilby changed position. He moved from his bed to his scratch pad. Hey, Zilby. So we'll definitely get some scritches in here. Uh, but yeah, that I think that worked out. He seems sad. He's tired and cold. Cause like it's been in the 90s or in the upper 80s every day here, and then yesterday it was high of like in the 70 Fahrenheit, and then today it's a high of 67. So like it's cooling down pretty quickly, and he's a he's a sad cat for not being warm and hot. All right, let's see. I can turn off that timer, and I can mark that as done. All right. Okay. Oh yeah, I need to rename that file before I forget. This was, where is it? OBS recordings. This was Axum Axum Query Params. Do I stream every day? Yeah, I've been streaming every morning. So I come in and I do the stream before I head off to work. So yeah, pretty much every weekday. I don't stream on weekends. I keep those for myself. And it's not like huge long streams either. I stream for a couple hours at most. Sometimes I have to stream a lot less often, a lot slower often, less, shorter. I have to stream shorter. That's usually day job getting in my way. Do not ask you. Okay, I will not. Let's see. So you're happy. Let's go ahead and save you, close you, get you gone. English level B2.2. Actually, I don't know that level system. I've worked I've worked with people from Mexico, and they had a leveling system, but it didn't have like a letter in front of it. It was just like level 2 or level 1. But yeah, no, I totally understand what you're saying. So yeah, you're at least written from what I'm seeing. English is great. All right, let's quit out of that. All right, what's next? Okay, record is short for errors. Right. So now that theoretically my microphone isn't going crazy anymore, just randomly, which I don't think it has, right? I should probably double check that. It's still looking good. I let's go and figure out what that sort of short video is going to be for errors. Do this one, this tab. I think we're done here. Oh, right, we can use cargo temp for this. Or do I want to put this up in, I might want to put this up on GitHub, like for the code so you can take a look at it. That would not be then good to throw in cargo temp. Let's do exploring. I think we want to do like exploring, maybe not exploring. Oh, manual errors. That's what we were doing before. And That's what we recorded, didn't we? I want to reset this. Let's see. Let's open up Helix here. Cool, we have absolutely nothing in there. And then in main, we had just the errors that we're going to create. Right, and this was like the input display for them. Okay, so let's throw everything into here. Okay, so we have our hello world that's running there. We have good to go. Let's come up with objectives for this. I don't have a good. The reason why I was using the Google messages, the GitHub messages, the Git messages, not Google or GitHub, Git messages, is because I haven't figured out a good like sort of command line to do list yet. I've looked through a few of them and I wasn't super happy with any of them. Not super happy with Git messages either. Is this, yeah, okay, so this is status, commit, setting for re-recording. So we tried recording this once before and my microphone went crazy in the middle of it, and that meant we had to throw that away. We are not still recording. We are done. I forgot to put on desktop audio, didn't I? Yeah. Yeah, I don't have a super great way of showing that I'm recording or not because I'm recording through my Windows system and that's capturing the entire screen, which means that I can't really like show anything else. So I'm not sure what to do because like that's recording there. And audio through the microphone is through the Windows machine. I do have another mic, and eventually I might get something to like hook that mic up into here, and then I can like do a recording on OBS on the Mac, and then you will have like, you know, giant like I am recording on there, and then everything will be fine. But that's not here or now. We'll do that someday. Let's say, ooh, I could do a README for this. In that case, open up Helix for the README, and then I'll open up thing down here for running that. All right, so we'll do manual errors in Rust. All right, objectives for this. What are objectives for handling manual errors in Rust? It's I want to. The idea is the initial idea was like, how do you create errors on your own? Do you have to use something like this error to create errors? So, do we have to use a library like this error? How to create an error that implements the error trait. And if I want to be more educational, I could say by the end of this, you will be able to, which like I won't have checks for understandings. That's like maybe not exactly correct. So describe if we have to use a library like this error. Stacking, you just got done showing off your NTFY scripts to a few coworkers you had. One or two super pumped with young kids. Oh, nice. Oh, yeah. And so NTFY, Stacking shared that with us on the Discord the other day. It's basically a tool that allows you to create push notifications to a device of your choice. And it's like free and you can self-host it. Otherwise, it's going to be like $5 a month or something like that for like just yourself and solo if you let them host it for you. It looks really nice and really cool. I need to like think of some ways that I want to use this as like part of the stream, but I haven't figured that out yet. Like the only thing I thought of is like things that will just ruin my day. Like, okay, allow you all to send me random text, like push notifications throughout the day. But it's like, I don't want to do that. You don't know why people don't like service workers. Why wouldn't they like service workers? Like that service workers do work. I mean, they're just a tool. They're just a tool that helps us do stuff. All right. So describe if we have to use a library like this error. How to create an error that implements the error trait. So, be able to create an error that implements the error traits. So that's okay. So really short, really basic. So do we have to use a library like this error? Of course not. Do we have to create an error that implements the error trait? And then I'll use that add like the sum library or something like that to show off the errors. So all right. That's gonna be the plan. And then we'll have Zilby hanging out with us here. Even though we can't really, Zilby loves letting parts of his like legs hang off things. You can see a little bit of that here with like his little feet. He loves like hanging off little things, especially if it's like there's no ground underneath. So I've seen him like go up to the edge of like on his bed and like he could be all on it. Like he's plenty of room in there. He goes up to the edge, lies down, and then just like hangs like one or two legs just completely off as long as possible. It's like, okay, one day you're gonna fall out of your bed, and it's just because of that. And because of that, we're gonna have to laugh. All right. We have you. We're ready to run here. And I think we're good to go with it. I kind of have an idea of what I want to do. It's been obviously like a week or two since we recorded this last time. So we'll see how it works. And then the energy I want to do to this is probably a little bit higher. And then Demon Hack, can I get my Vim in it Lua? I've been using Helix recently, so I don't think I can. I can't help with that. That's what I've been using for Helix, and Helix instead of Vim. So this is all Helix. So sorry about that. But if you want to check that out, there's the config for it. Also, hello Demon Hack. How are you doing today? All right. I think we're ready to go and do this. I might want to remind myself. No, I think it would just do write and all that stuff. I think it's going to be super simple. So, all right, let's try this. We're going to do a recording. This recording, though, leaving Zilby up, leaving music on, and I will respond to chat messages like normal. This is just going to be like, hey, we're just going to like do something as part of streaming and just have that be like a cut short version as like its own video. And we'll see how long this is. So with that, let's do it. Hello everybody, it's Brooks from Brooks Builds. We're streaming over on Twitch, and we had a comment the other week about error handling, and if we needed to use something like this error to well, handle errors. And I attempted to record it then, but my microphone kind of went crazy. So got a new cable, and we should be good to go now. So let's talk about errors in Rust. So first off, do we need to use a library like this error to create an error? Well, no, actually we don't. This error makes things a lot easier for us, and it adds in sort of messages for us to use, but we can totally set up an error for ourselves just completely manually and implement the error trait so we get all the, well, goodness of having something that implements the error trait, and we don't have to just do results static string everywhere. Let me go ahead and show you what that looks like. We have over here on the left a just hello world basic main application. I'm going to put everything into this file so it's easier to see, but we can imagine putting this error enum we're about to create into its own file and just sort of have that shared across everything. So we have maybe like custom errors, so custom error, and let's imagine we wanted to create a function here. So we have a function. Let's add them. We'll take in two things, right? So like we have first, or maybe we just do A and B. So A, that's gonna be like what, I32. B is an I32. And I would like to return a result with this custom error. Well, I probably should return a result with the success too, right? So this is going to be an I32, and then custom error if it's not, well, so happy. And we want to just do what? Add A plus B and return that. Oh, but that has to be an OK. A plus B. There it goes. Okay. Well, custom error. So, well, first of all, it's not implemented by default. So let's figure out what one of these things can happen. Let's say that we don't want A or B to ever be 0, but everything else is fine. So we'll say the error is cannot be 0. And we can then say here, if A is 0, or B is equal to 0. I could also use the methods added on to I32s to do that, but this is just easier for the example here. I want to do an early return of for this result. So we're going to return error. Custom error cannot be 0. All right. So that's that. Let's go ahead and we need to implement error on this, don't we? So we have to impl error for custom error to, make it actually an error so we get all the goodness that comes with the error trait. I love in chat. Don't need to handle errors if we don't have errors. I mean, that's true. We could just program without errors, but for the rest of us who do have errors, we do need to do something about that. What are you upset about? We need to pull in error. So import standard error. And now I should be able to implement the default. Actually don't need to implement the default members for this. I believe that I need to undo that. Upset. Oh, it doesn't implement display. That's the big thing. I need it to implement display, but that's not error. I can just actually leave this alone here, and then we're going to implement display, which I want to use the standard format display for custom error. All those other things we saw with error, we can override if we want to, but we don't really need to here. In this case, what I really care about errors, like 99% of the time, is going to be a message and then the stack trace. That's all I really care about. So I want to implement you, implement some members. Okay, so we have this format. So how do we implement display here? When we have this formatter like that, there is a write macro that we can use that worked exactly like, print line. And there's one minor difference. We have to hand in a formatter first, but we've already been given a formatter. So I can just F, and then it's basically use it like print line here. Okay, so I want maybe like an error. Well, what do I want? Like this has to be displayed for the entire thing, for everything here. So I probably want to have something like let our message is going to be equal to let's match on self. If we have self is, okay, so if we have self cannot be 0, I want to have this message be a number provided cannot be 0. Now, if I wanted to have this be like a tuple struct, I could then add in a custom message down here when I create that, and then access that at this point in time. So it's something that we can do. I'm not going to go ahead and do that right now, but that is something we can sort of see happen. Now error, I want them to display what this error is. So let's do our message right here. And I want to return the result of this write, which is itself a standard format result. Okay, perfect. What are you upset about? You need to implement debug. Well, that's something we can do right here. We can just derive, debug. And okay, great. Everything is happy, just some warnings. Let's go ahead and get rid of this print line. We'll have our let result equals, we'll do a add them. I will do like, let's say 1 and 2. And I can debug out result. And then you, I want to, let's just go ahead and unwrap you. So let's run this. We do cargo run. We see our result equals 3. Okay, so that worked as expected. Let's change one of these into a 0. So if I update you and we rerun you, we have, okay, thread main panicked, called an unwrap on an error value, cannot be 0. And we have Rust backtrace, environment. Okay, so we have that. Now, if I wanted to like actually get that message out, we could handle that error properly. So let's go ahead and result. Let's match. Wow, Well, actually, we can do that. The result. Yeah, we have to extract this out itself. So let's match this. Go to the end. And fill map arms. Okay, so if it's okay, I want this like, sort of sum. And we're just going to return this through. If we get this error though, I probably want to just print this to standard error, don't I? So we're going to do an E. Well, we can do an E print line, or it also prints out to standard error with a non-zero exit code if I just panic. So let's actually just panic. I'm going to panic and we're going to say error. Well, actually, we already have like the error printed out the way we want it to. So we'll just panic and display the error as is. It implements display, so this should just work. Let's go ahead and rerun this. All right. Thread main panicked at error. Number provided cannot be 0. So this way we actually can print out, we handle the error properly, we print out that error message, we get exactly what we want. And we can get a bigger backtrace if we do that rust backtrace equals 1 if we really want to. It's pretty obvious here. It's line 6. We know exactly where, what's going on, where this is happening. And this is how we can create errors, get everything we want out of the error, and we don't have to use this error. Now, do I use this error? Yeah, I still do. I still use this error. I still use error. I still use other error libraries all over my own code bases, especially if I'm writing them for production. Just the fact that I know how to do this doesn't mean I will always do that. But I do recommend that if you do it because you don't know how, at least try it out. Make sure that you're like understanding a little bit of the behind the scenes. And then we can use the abstractions that sort of give us extra on top of that. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I hope this has been helpful, and I will see you in the next video. Bye. All right. You wonder why derive error isn't a thing. Seems like line 11 is the equivalent of me. Yeah, it just means that they don't have a derive macro created for it. But there's no reason that it couldn't be a thing. They absolutely could create a macro for that. It kind of makes sense, or it kind of doesn't make sense they don't have it. Yeah, they totally should. I do know that there's some working groups that are working on errors. So maybe they just don't want to touch anything until they figure out a better way of handling errors. Also, hello Turbo Gerbil. How are you doing today? Joey, we finished the recording. Well, we finished the article for query parameters. We recorded query parameters, and then we just recorded a video for error handling, which is another sort of like shorter video that we're going to do. The last one we did, which was that string leak, was actually like the most popular video I've ever made, like in that short period of time. So let's see if this is also like something that's helpful that people like. Maybe derived macros can't rely on each other. Nah, I don't think it would be something like that, because like think about what the macro is doing behind the scenes. It's literally just injecting this code for me. They totally could do that. I just think that they haven't, like nobody on the Rust team has implemented that for us. And then if you're using like a derive error from this error, it's kind of just doing this for you, plus also implementing display for you. Hi. Did you wake up? All right, rename. Let's name this. That was larger than the query params. Was that longer? I may have made that longer. All right, so this was error handling. I call these shorts, but they're not gonna go into like the YouTube shorts category because they're too long. Plus, also like I looked into shorts, you have to make them vertical cell phone size. So I'd have to like basically cut this all in half, make it the right format and size, and then it has to be 1 minute maximum. I think I can do like 60 seconds, maybe 61 if I've seen some of them that are 61 seconds, but that might have just been like a floating point error. Okay. Yeah, someday we could do a like a short little focus thing on how to create a macro. Like we've done it before. We've created a macro to do a derive. It's not hard. It's annoying because you have to publish them as separate crates because of reasons. Which is why you have to like pull in Serde derive. Well, wait. It's why you have to pull in the feature Serde derive. It's re-exported now. At one point in time, you had to pull it in as a separate thing. But it's a reason that I never really understood why they haven't changed that. And then of course there's just other macros, but like these macros are fun. And I think didn't Togglebit just did this, right? Like he was talking about on his Discord, having to create one, and I think he did, right? Or at least he was complaining about it. Okay, so I want to save you. I don't really need that README up there, so we'll just do that. Well, actually, I might as well. Recorded take 2. All right, so that's up there with that. So I can grab that and then add it to the description of that video when I create it. So that brings us back to this. See if we can get Markdown inline working in Helix for Rust. We have like 15 minutes before I need to end the stream. Let's see if we can get that working. So one of these, let's go to Query Params. We had a bunch here. All right, so here's something that, ooh, that pair. Yeah, I don't want to leave that in. If we come to our config Helix in languages, I don't have a language. Okay, so I need to add a language name equals. Okay, so I think this is Markdown inline. Formatter, let's see what. Okay, so Markdown inline doesn't have anything in here. Syntax highlighting, that's the only thing it has. So I probably need to tell it what it is. Interesting. Okay. So Markdown inline, and then I need to remember. Okay, so I want to do basically something like this, right? Actually, probably closer to something like this. So we have a language name equals, okay, so markdown in line. Oh, scope. We need scope. So scope is going to be, I want this on MD. Injection regex. A regex pattern that will be tested against a language name in order to determine whether this language should be used for a potential language injection site. Don't know about that. File types. The file types of a language, for example, YAML. So I think I want to not use, okay, I'm going to try not using this. File types, I might need this. So this would be like what? Markdown? Markdown MD. Comment token. That's // indent. Sure. Okay. Indent, sure, spaces, and then 2 of them. Language server. Okay. Language server. Okay, so command. Now, this is interesting because I want. I'm gonna have to say like you're a Rust, or you're JavaScript, or you're something else. So that sucks. Language server. What's the default language server for Rust? It's Rust Analyzer, right? They actually have this in here. Or really, I want Rust. Oh, yeah. Okay, language name Rust, scope. Okay, so language servers is Rust Analyzer, and that's it. So I think this is all I have to do for that. And then finally, formatter. Formatter. Auto format is true. Formatter is cargo format, I think. Something like that. Okay, so if I save you, I don't want to quit. I don't want to necessarily quit you, but I can. Okay, so let's quit you, rerun. Okay, so it's really happy with that. Oh, you need to be a string, don't you? Bad language config, unknown field language servers. Did I misspell it? No. Okay. Oh, is that a new? Oh, it's a new thing. It's a new thing. All right. That's. I'm looking at the main branch on GitHub, but I think its language server is something like this. For the version that I have here. Bad language config, terminal parser error, language server Rust analyzer expected a dot question mark equals. Oh, I need something like command, probably. Wait. Okay, that maybe worked. Markdown's not doing its thing. It broke everything. It broke everything. Yeah, okay, that didn't work out very well. We can open up the logs. Failed to discover the workspace. Oh, okay. So I need to add in a cargo to TOML. Okay, okay. Where do I want to do that? Probably down here. Oh, I did an AXM assessments. Remove TOML. Undo it to AXM. Oh, it's a different repo. That's why. Course articles. That's what it is. Are you done, Zilby? Okay. Cargo TOML. Do I have to actually do anything here? I don't know. Virtual manifest must be configured with workspace. Failed to load workspace. Okay, so it's just really unhappy. Okay, let's git commit some stuff. Okay, let's add in that. Okay, so if I push you all up, so that way I can't screw this up too much anymore. Cargo. Okay, let's remove that. Let's do a cargo init. So that created a cargo.toml here along with everything else. I wonder if I need to put those inside of source or if I need it for this to work then. Okay, so File not included in crate hierarchy. Okay, so that's the next problem. Oh, look at this. It's attempting to parse this as Rust code now, when I really only want to parse this as inline. Which is not what I was going for. Is there any inline examples here? Okay, language. Markdown inline. Scope. Source markdown inline. Injection regex. Okay. So maybe I want to copy this and do this one here. Okay, markdown inline, scope, source, markdown inline. File types, we want markdown. MD. Roots, I don't know about that. Grammar, markdown inline. I want... But if I could pull config types out here. I don't know if that would work. Language server crashed. Let's see. Caused by channel closed. Axum query params. Failed to load workspace. Caused by manifest must be configured with workspace. Failed to read cargo metadata. So it's looking for version, major, minor, patch. Wait, but I have the cargo toml there now. So hold on, what's really going on? So if I save and quit out of view, rerun. Nothing. Okay. Language server not active per current buffer. So it didn't recognize that this is a language server. So scope MD. I don't know if that's what I want to do. Language server not activate. Okay, so it's not recognizing that this is the language server that I want to run. Oh, interesting. Okay. So, not quite. I was hoping that it would be like super easy to do and get it running, but didn't quite get it there. So, I did ruin Markdown for myself though, so that's cool. We are going to just delete that and revert and not worry about this. I'm also going to what did I, oh, not you, I want you. What did I do here? I want to remove the cargo lock and the source. I want to remove the target and uploaded. And then everything else should be fine. playing, I guess, like playing with workspace, with getting RA to work with Markdown inline in Helix. Did not work. I'll go ahead and push that up. All right. So that being all said and done, let's go ahead and Raimu is streaming. Raimu has been working on learning WGPU, eGUI, Rapier, so like some game dev type stuff, in Rust, which means a lot of fun sort of like 3D graph stuff. Oh, and he has a kitty. He has a kitty cat that he every once in a while brings up on stream. So that sounds perfect. Let's go ahead and set up a raid to Raimu. All right. I do these streams every weekday morning, starting at around 6 a.m. Mountain Time, and then I go until around this time in the day. So I will be back tomorrow morning. I don't know if I'm going to do a full stream or not, because tomorrow there's a startup week in town, and so I might be stopping early to go hang out with some of those people. I'm not exactly sure what the schedule is. I'll take a look today. So either a full stream or a shorter stream tomorrow. We'll find out tomorrow. So with that, have a great rest of your Mondays, and I will see you online. Bye.